Hello, everyone. This is Mark, and this is Poppy.
Poppy!
This is welcome to episode 5 of our podcast. Today, we thought we'd touch on aging and health, and all these wonderful illnesses as we age. And we thought we'd put more of this podcast out to the audience, people that are listening to our podcast, and hope that you can come back with some of the points and the responses to what we're talking about today. So it's completely spontaneous between Poppy and myself, but we thought we'd touch on this because I was saying to Poppy earlier about as I'm aging, I'm finding that I'm getting more and more ailments appearing. You could walk down the road and your leg would just fall off. So I'm just trying to figure. I'm just trying to. So I'm like, we're just trying to. Is this normal? I mean, when I was a young man, I arguably was invincible, but now I'm not so invincible. There's chinks in my armor, Poppy. Are you finding as you're aging, Poppy, that things are appearing?
That's a good question. I think I'm on the cusp. So, I'm in my 30s. I've noticed changes, like when I used to go out and be social. I still go out and be social, but, changes. Like I think at uni, going out all night long. And I think now I just love being in my bed at midnight. So I noticed like actual behavioral changes as much as physical changes. But, I'm going to Google this. I was watching this show. And in it, the woman turned 40, and she had something called 40-year-old shoulder. I'm just going to search for it while we talk. Is that a thing? Oh my God, it actually is a thing. So yeah, she turned 40, and apparently there is a frozen shoulder, also known as the 40-year-old shoulder.
Oh, I didn't know. I know people have had a frozen shoulder and they've had to have surgery.
But wow, that sounds awful. Frozen shoulder. Is this going to happen to me when I turn 40? Your shoulder is painful and stiff for months, sometimes years.
What?
Okay, maybe they just called it 40-year-old shoulder in the show, but it sounds like that's an actual thing. Are these things?
I don't know.
Listeners, we want to know what's going on for you.
Yeah, you got to tell us, audience, because we don't, But as I said, I know people have had arthritic shoulders and they've had the joints replaced in the shoulder. In fact, I know 2 people have had that. It's just wear and tear.
Wow. So I know people that have had hip replacements and knee replacements. You can get a shoulder replacement.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know 2 people.
You were telling me you have a new eye.
Yeah, so they can lift the car now with one arm.
Oh, wow. It's amazing what they can do. I mean, not a car. But I think it's kind of reassuring. So my mum also had her eyes, she had cataracts removed recently.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. I feel reassured, I guess, as I age, to know that I'm in a westernized country where I could access things to support me as I age. Yeah. What are some things you're kind of having to manage yourself, though, without surgery? I saw you put something on our Instagram about chilblains. What is that?
If I put a full list of my ailments on, we'd be going forever.
Tell us something. Right, we've got like about 5 minutes. Tell us what. So tell me about the chilblains.
I may look at the peak of perfection, Poppy, but under this layer.
You're secretly falling apart. You're like a rag doll.
As I said, bits fall off as you're walking down the road. But I've got Raynaud's, and Raynaud's. My mum had has Raynaud's.
What does it look like? How do you know if you have it? What is it?
It's arguably a lack of blood flow to the fingers and the hands. So I don't think you maybe not be able to see it, but my hands this color. You can see the white and the red. I don't know if you can see that.
Does it happen when you're cold, or is it always?
I get it pretty much every day. And yesterday was a really nice day, and I had to stop work because it got so bad. And I wear gloves. I'm not wearing it for this interview, but I have gloves. I think it's part of my, what did I say? It's my Raynaud's pack or kit.
Yeah, like your self-care pack.
Yeah, I do. And I have gloves, and I wear gloves when I'm not, in meetings and stuff. I wear them all the time. But I don't fix the Raynaud's. But what they do is it lengthens the amount of time before it kicks in. So it just helps a little bit. But if you've got the Raynaud's, putting on gloves doesn't make any odds, because the problem is the lack of blood flow to your hand.
Did that present in childhood, or that presents as you age?
No, as I said, when I was a young man, it was pretty much invincible, you know. But then I don't know, in the last 2 years, it's really kicked in. My mum, as I said, my mother had it, my grandmother had it, so it's a maternal thing. But then it's really kicked in bad. The problem with Raynaud's for me, it's so severe that I get chilblains.
Oh, yeah. So I saw that on your post. So what's that?
Yeah. So it's like, because it gets so cold, the skin, there's problems with the skin. So I get like, you get sores on your skin and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Is it on your hands or feet as well?
Pardon?
Hands and feet?
Feet not so bad. Feet not so bad. I mean, because you've always got, I don't know, socks on or slippers or shoes or whatever it is. But with my hands, because I type, you know, my hands are exposed, and I've got heated mats and gloves, and I've got all the gear. Still doesn't stop it. So Raynaud's, you know, is really bad for me. Other things as well, you know, I've kicked in that I never had before. So arthritis has kicked into my thumbs, and that I take that from, because you know, it's no problem explaining it, but I've had 40 years of judo. So I think.
Oh, so it's self-inflicted, Mark.
Pulling geese and strangling people. It's just like it's just worn out my thumbs. So, but I know someone who had a thumb joint replacement.
Really?
I never even knew that existed.
I didn't.
Yeah,
it's amazing what they can do.
She was a GP, and because she's writing a lot and typing a lot, they replaced her thumb joints. And I'm like, I never even knew I just didn't know you could do that. So perhaps the audience could tell us a little bit about that as well, because I'm really interested in that.
Tell us about your surgeries, guys.
Yeah, tell us. Just give us a list of your personal history. Publicize it.
What I think is really cool, Mark, hearing about the things that you're doing to support your Raynaud's and your chilblains is, you know, you can't have surgery for everything. And it's about finding the daily self-care, like the daily things you can do to look after yourself when it's not at surgery level. I think what's really interesting for me, particularly, I say as a woman, but I also know men who are having things like Botox and fillers. So I've not had them, partly because I have and some of you know, a very addictive personality. I get addicted to things quite quickly. And so the thought of me, I'd be one of those people you see go viral because I've tried to look like, you know, Barbie or something. So I can't risk. But a lot of my friends do have Botox and fillers or both. And I think what's really interesting is then thinking, how will that affect your aging process? And it's been really cool. I think we've spoken about this before, Mark, how then you see some celebrities like Pamela Anderson's a really famous one at the moment, who's like, I'm going to embrace aging. She's not even wearing makeup. She's gone to the extreme. So not only not wanting to inject fillers and Botox, but now to just actually embrace natural aging and not even wear makeup. And some people have said she's gone too far. But I think it's incredible, like to show that you can embrace getting older. And I do think as a woman, I do think there's more pressure. I was asking you, Mark, wasn't I? Did you watch the film The Substance? But you said you don't like horrors, but anyone watching knows I love horrors. Oh my God. I think about this film every day. Honestly, since I watched it, it's Demi Moore is in it. She is absolutely incredible. But I think in the film, she's meant to be like mid-50s. She looks utterly beautiful. But she's in a world where youth is seen as, you know, the height of beauty, even though she's absolutely stunning. And so although it's a fictional thing, it's not too far from what we see, where people do get caught up in wanting plastic surgery and fillers to stay youthful. And you realise at the end of the film, I'm not going to spoil it. It's horrifying. Definitely, if you're under 18, listen to this, don't watch it. But at the end, you realise she was so beautiful how she was. And actually, there's something really cool in aging. There was something really cool that she was mid-50s and had this career and had this life. And she was a famous dancer. And I think it's all just society, isn't it? That makes us worry about aging. Don't you think, Mark, like aging? I know you're saying you're getting like daily issues. I'm not there yet, but I think it's really cool, like to be older.
I think it's a multifaceted issue. I think the more ailments you get, you know, the work that we're doing at the moment, you know, and the courses we're running are looking at reducing risk. So, you you know, we're not saying you're going to be vulnerable, but you can reduce the risk of contracted diseases and such like. But the other thing is making sure that your mental state's in a good place when you do get them, and you put those diseases in a state where you can manage them. So, you know, I at the moment I can't manage my Raynaud's, but the other ailments I've got to a situation where I can manage, and that's good for my well-being because they're not out of control. So, and that's really important to me. But I've done everything in my power in the last 10 or 15 years to reduce my risk. So from my perspective, things would be a lot worse if I hadn't taken those proactive actions earlier on. So though I've got them now, I think, well, thank God, you know, 15 years ago, if I hadn't taken those actions, where would I be now? So
wow. So this is perfect that, you know, we've started Lifespan Collective right now, because I can learn from you. So I'm not going to get the 40-year-old shoulder.
Yeah, wise old man.
That's so cool. And everyone listening, watch this space, because Mark and I will be sharing more soon about our courses where you can learn how to prevent risk and just be happier and healthier, really. And like we said, do feel free to share with us what's going on for you. We are interested.
Love to see the comments.
It's amazing. Our bodies are amazing. I think that's what
they are. Yeah, and I love to hear people's feedback on how they're coping with aging and what their risk reduction strategies are, and you know how they're managing. That's really interesting. You know.
Yeah. What's in your daily toolkit?
Because our toolkit, our course toolkit, sort of covers some of these things as well. Makes strategies and recommendations. So. We'd love to hear what your ideas are going forward.
Yes, a holistic approach. Yes. So that brings us to the end. These go too quick. Why did we say 10 minutes? We should have said 10 hours per episode. But thanks everyone for joining. Do feel free to comment. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, let us know in the comments as well. We're always really happy to work with you on this. It's about being a team. We're a team, aren't we, Mark?
We are. We're going forward.
We're going forward. We're here for you guys. We're here to listen. So take care, everyone. And we'll be back soon with another fun episode.